Welcome back to my channel. So in today's DIY, I want to show you how to cut a pencil skirt. For this skirt you will need a pair of scissors, you need a marker or a pen, you need your measuring tape, a ruler or a hip curve. And the measurements we need are the waist measurement, the hips measurement, the full length, and you will also determine your hip area. So let's get started. So for this skirt, the waist measurement is 35, the hips is 43, the full length is 24. I will divide the waist by 4, and dividing 35 by 4 will give us 8 3/4, and the hip 43 divided by 4 will give us 10 3/4. Then to determine the hip area, we will subtract 35, which is the waist measurement, from the hips measurement, which is 43, and that will give us 8 inches. So let's mark our measurement. It is quite simple. From this line here, we are going to take this line as our waistline. Come down to the hip area, which gave us 8 inches, and the full length is 24, like I've said before. Eight inches. Then I will mark it all through. Okay. So now take the waist 35 divided by 4, giving us 8 3/4. We'll mark it at the waistline. Then I will add 1 inch for my dart, because it's going to have a band. Then 1 inch for sewing allowance, altogether to be 2 inches. Then I come down to the hip. The hip is 43 divided by 4 gives us 10 3/4. So 10 3/4, then I add 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance. Then when I come to this bottom here, I'll take the same measurement of the hips, leaving the allowance that I added. I'll take the same measurement of the hips, which is 10 3/4. Then to have that pencil shape, I'm going to remove 1 1/4. Yes, 1 1/4 from it. But you can remove 1 1/2 depending on how curvy you are. You can remove 1 inch. If you are not too curvy, you can remove 1 1/4, 1 1/2, 2 inches, depends. So I will draw my lines together. So with the aid of this hip curve, I'll mark it. Okay, then from the hip to the bottom, I'll use the straight part of the ruler. Okay, see, this part is done. This part now is the front of the skirt. Okay, so for the waist, I'm not going to leave the waist straight. I will remove 1 inch from the top. You can remove ½ inch. You can remove 1 inch depending on you, just to shape it. Okay. So this piece is the front of the skirt. So what I will do, I will cut out this piece, then I will place it on another piece to trace for the back. So what is left with this front of the skirt is to determine our dart. I will use the measurement of my nipple to nipple, which is 8.5 inches. 8.5 inches divided by 2 will give me 4.25. Then the length of our dart is 5 inches. And in sewing our dart, we'll take ½ inch from both sides of this line that I've just drawn, because we added 1 inch for the darts already while we were taking the measurement. I'll place the front piece on another piece and just trace out the back. The difference between the front and the back is that the back will have zip allowance. So my zip allowance, I'm taking it to be 1.5 inches. So I'll mark 1.5 inches all through. Then this front, I removed 1 inch from here, from the center of the front, to give it a nice curve, so that when I wear the skirt, it will balance on my waist. But the back, I will not remove that 1 inch. because the front you have tummy, but the back there is no tummy at the back. So I will draw out my line for the zip allowance. So here is my zip allowance. Then I will mark the dot for the back. So here is my skirt. My pencil skirt is ready. So in my next video, I will use this pattern that I have drafted to cut my pencil skirt. Thank you for watching.